Need to adjust the light a little darker maybe. Better. Yeah, good enough. Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're all feeling well this morning. See what's going on here. Oh, we're standing on a glass block. I was wondering what that was, but of course it's the new glass texture. And here we are back in this tropical bay, as usual. And we have some work to be doing. We have a lot of work to be doing, in fact. Alrighty. So let's get our brushes set up first. So we're going to want various sizes of brushes here. So we're going to go for BR. Put the biggest one on here. BR rock. Sure. Yep. BR rock. We'll start with a stone. 80. No, 8. Not 80. 80 is very big. 890. We'll go for a granite. Why not? Because we haven't really done too much of that. We'll go for a size 5. And we'll go for a andesite, because I think we've done quite a lot of diorite. 390, okay. So it should give us our 3 block option. You know it. It's all it's mountains from here on out, basically. For quite a long time. Aha, I forgot a thing. Mask, water, air. We don't want to overwrite any existing blocks, so we're just going to put mask on all 3. It looks like this is a very small one, actually, this brush here, so I probably won't be using that. We'll probably be preferring this one. Whoa, that's quite big, though. You know what? I think I'm going to scale this one up just a little. Let's just make it 3.5, just so it's a little bigger. I know this is an area I've actually already done, so I'm just going to kind of skirt over here, but it's actually looking really good. I'm almost, I mean, I know it's really not an appropriate thing to do, but I'm almost tempted to work with it as is. Like, to leave the blue lines on it and just keep it as this kind of weird pile of rocks. Because it looks super cool. I'm not going to do that, but it's kind of inspiration for the future, maybe. You know, that could, it looks so cool that it could be almost a build in its own right. Trying to fill out this without overlapping too much. Goodness me, this is a gargantuan task, truly. I know I keep saying that a lot, but I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I don't know who Drop Dead Fred is. So I'm hoping he's drop dead because he's drop dead gorgeous. In which case, I'll take that as a compliment. Good morning, Matthias. How are you doing this morning, friend? Just going to grab another brush here, Catenary 22, which will just let us get some more strings in here so that we can kind of identify where the surface has to go, because we're missing, certainly here, we're missing some detail on the surface. This is David, the guy with the overgrown flower canal thing suggestion. Ah, I see. Hi, friend. I thought I didn't recognise the name, and I was confused about why you knew what we were doing, so I guess that explains it. Admittedly, it's going to be not the most exciting of time-lapses today, streams today. It's going to probably be much of what you're seeing now, so probably 5 minutes will be enough of the visual effect, and we'll see whether my sparkling personality and witty banter are enough to keep you amused. Do we have some news to talk about, maybe? Let me think. What's in the news? It's Donald Trump. As always, Donald Trump is in the news. There's just so much stuff. They're appointing a new Chief Justice, aren't they? And some people are not happy about who they're appointing, I think. And there's some questions of foul play, but of course there always is, so who knows how that's going to resolve. Hard to say. Thank you, friend. That means a lot to me. Yeah, so there, I don't know, is it... No, wait, Sessions, is he the one who's resigning? Kavanaugh, is it? Brett Kavanaugh, is he going to be the new Justice? I think he is, I'd say, not... Isn't there some question of some kind of criminal cover-up? Like he's got a criminal record or something? I don't know. Not following too closely, but that seems to be overflowing the news at the moment. So, if you know any more, please do give us a comment. And a little bit more in here. Whoa. I actually have a interesting word for the day, actually. So here's one. I'm going to try and use this in the stream today. Maybe that should be fun, actually, if I tried to use the word of the day in the stream. So our word of the day today, as according to Merriam-Webster, is this word quiddity. And quiddity means the essential essence of something, or it also can mean a disagreement, a quibble, or an eccentricity. Yes. The US government is. I would agree with that assessment that it seems like Trump is trying to mess things up. Like it almost seems to me, and I mean this is probably not a very popular opinion amongst some, but it almost seems to me like he is a plant from the Democrats. He used to be a Democrat, like he used to be pro-Democrats. He was also known as a nice guy once upon a time. It seems to me like maybe his plan is just to be so awful that the Republican Party will be destroyed, and the wave of repercussions will be so great that a great deal of good will be done in the name of reversing. You know, basically, I think. You know, if you were to be a Democrat and you were like, well, what I want to do is I want to become the president for the Republicans and then just wreck everything and as such galvanize the people into kind of solving the problems that allowed me to do this. I would be doing what Donald Trump is doing. Like he could very well be, you know, if he were a Democrat plant or if he were there as a saboteur, his behavior would be much the same. So I think it's kind of odd. In that regard, he seems to be doing everything just as bad as he could do it. No. Which is, yeah, I don't know. Normally, presidents at least try to do things right. Whereas Trump seems to. Well, I mean, he's burnt the handbook, which I mean is not necessarily a bad thing, but he's burnt it in the wrong way, as it were. He's dropped all the wrong parts of the kind of presidential behavior. Yeah, I somehow don't think that he is. But I mean, as I say, if it were true, there wouldn't be, you know, he wouldn't be behaving any differently. As far as I can tell, anyway. You know, he seems to be doing the worst thing at every opportunity. Alrighty, so I'm going to try and be a little bit more consistent about what I'm doing here. So let's just make sure that every area over here is kind of completed. So this area here needs to be dealt with. And let's do that. Get a couple more ropes in here. So we do have a definite gap here, which we can fill out. the rest of the world, at least certainly I am, looking at the situation and being like, well, I mean, I've also actually said in the past, I think this is kind of a telling statement. You know, it's always been suspected by many that America was run by the corporations and that Russia was run by the KGB. Now, in Russia, we have Putin. Putin, who is quoted as saying, "There's no such thing as an ex-KGB man," and he was in the KGB. So, what does that tell us? He is a member of the KGB. That the KGB, or at least certainly a member of the KGB, is ruling Russia. So, I mean, that's not too much of a surprise. We all suspected that, and it makes perfect sense. But then, to go back to the point about America being run by the corporations, we literally have a corporate buffoon as the President of the United States, and so suddenly we've kind of revealed the... we've made plain what was true all along, I think, between these two superpowers of the world, and we kind of revealed the rotten core that was there all along. And unfortunately, there's been no backlash. There has been no repercussion. Russia remains, you know, Putin remains the leader of Russia. There's backlash against Trump, but it's not significant enough. Trump remains leader of the US, and kind of that, as I say, that rotten core is just fully exposed without any real resistance, which is, you know, kind of scary. But I suppose in many ways it doesn't really change anything. Like, we already knew these things were true, or certainly suspected. Thank you, Cookie. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what iCookie is, though. So I'm going to join this one onto there. And so I'm going to try kind of going up and down like this now, just to kind of make sure that we don't miss any areas. And then we can move around. Sorry, excuse me. It's gas. Is that right? I didn't realise it was called that. I'm teasing you, you know that? Alright. Oops. So I do have a plan, actually, for how we're going to kind of erode this. It's going to be a very long process, unfortunately, but I think it will work quite well. I'm thinking I'm going to use the gravity brush for a start, which should really kind of help out a lot with creating a more coherent shape. But then I think using rock brush, an air-based rock brush, an air-based rock brush with, and then using the gravity brush to kind of repair any weird damage that it does, should create some kind of really cool kind of rocky shapes that look more natural. Again, we're struggling with we're creating an additive structure, and a mountain is a removative, subtractive structure, if you will. I'm not sure what the name is. I think it is subtractive, negative space. No, wait. Yeah, a mountain is made from its negative space, really. So that is to say, a mountain is made from the erosion that creates it, and not from the rocks that build it up. I mean, it is built literally from the rocks, but, you know, so is the Earth's crust, and the Earth's crust is not a mountain. So it's actually the erosion of the Earth's crust that creates this mountain. It's actually one of those who's not in a great place. And so, yeah, what we're doing here is we're creating it out of individual stones, which of course is not correct, but we'll see how we go. I think we're going to have a pretty good result. Oh gosh, there's so much space even here that I haven't filled out. Well, let's try and keep it kind of nice and consistent. So let's just look down here. This looks all kind of filled out, doesn't it? Got almost like a cave there. That could be cool though. We probably will have some like mountain caves on this bad boy. Mon. Mon, doesn't that mean mountain in some language? Maybe? No, maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm just imagining. It sounds like it would be like mountain. I know it's not mountain in mountain. It's not mountain in French, is it? No. Mon is me. Or my, isn't it? Mon ami. I keep finding like spots where it hasn't been filled, which is crazy considering I've been through this area a lot. Alrighty, so that's kind of done. More spots. Big spot here. Yeah, every time I fill it out, like it just creates smaller gaps underneath, basically. So it's going to be a little bit of a process. You know what? I'm going to be a little bit more fast and loose with this. I think it's probably the best way to get it kind of progressing. I guess that actually. Yeah, let's speed this up a little because I don't want to spend weeks and weeks doing this. So we can get a few through here. So if I do this and I go up and then I kind of come back down and repair any kind of damage, or not repair damage, but hit the smaller areas, I suppose. Cool. What else do we have to talk about? Oh, I have a thought for the day. Are you ready for a thought for the day? I'm ready to think. My one thought for the day. Okay, this is quite a long thought, and it's unfortunately obscured by my chat box. So give me just 1 second to give me a little bit more space. It says, surrounding yourself with the right positive energy is the key to success. Strive to spend time with people who empower you and motivate you to reach bigger and bigger. I think this is a little bit like the phrase, you should never be the smartest person in the room. The advice being there, of course, that you never want to be the one who's pulling everyone else up, because, it's possible to be pulled up by other people, I suppose. And, why would you not want to take advantage of that? Getting dragged down by people is no fun. Feeling uplifted is great. So I think that's some very good advice. It also plays back into the very, very common advice of dispose of toxic people in your life. You don't want to have, if people bring you down, get rid of them. It doesn't matter whether they're bringing you down because well, it doesn't matter why they're bringing you down, but if people are bringing you down, you shouldn't keep them in your life, because they're just not worth it. Life's too short. Cookies, yes. Wait, cookies will kind of bring you down though if you eat too many. I think that's some good advice, really. To be fair, this website seems to have some pretty good advice. This is WoW for you. I guess that might be Words of Wisdom for you, maybe? Or maybe it's World of Warcraft. Maybe it's the World of Warcraft fan site that's branching out. The World of Wisdom. Hashtag wisdom. So, that's our word of wisdom for the day. I haven't got too much more to say about it. Let's see here. I'm going to go for... I think we've kind of filled out this area a bit. So let's go through here and get another array of... I think we've actually kind of filled this out too, haven't we? Yeah, this looks okay. So let's check out this area next. So we're going to need another C cable, if you want to call it that. marking the... What happened there? Did it work? Oops. Gosh, something bad's happening. I don't know what happened there. I think there's a cable gone from one place to another, and it's worrying me, so I'm actually going to get rid of it. That one that went out of the world is probably not a good one. Monoculture. It's probably a bad idea. This is my strong advice, actually. Strong advice. Don't eat only cookies. There's more to life than cookies. There we go, I said it. You have to take my word for that. I know some of you, not naming names, but some of you live the life of the cookie to the fullest. I'm telling you, it's a life of sin, and that you will regret, you'll repent before the end. Oh, yesterday I was playing this game, Wizard of Legend. Really good game. I know I've said that before, but I'm starting to do quite well at it. I thought, oh, it's going to be kind of easy. So the way the game works is it's procedurally generated, and it has 3 sections, I think. Maybe there's more, but at the moment there's certainly 3 starting sections, and they appear in a random order. And so I've beaten each one individually now, and I thought, oh, this is going to be quite easy. Because, you know, I've beaten them all now, so it can't get any harder. But after beating the first one, the next one is actually far, far, far more difficult. And I realised with joy that this game that I'm enjoying looks like it's going to actually be kind of a challenge, which is good. So, Wizard of Legend, I would recommend it to anyone who likes... it's kind of like Gauntlet. I know Gauntlet is a very old... style of game, not really a very popular one anymore. Other games that are kind of like it, it's a very good version of Gauntlet, I should say. It does away with a lot of the rubbish. So Gauntlet is a game, or a game style, things like Hammerwatch, or the other one. Oh, it's called Gauntlet, isn't it? There is a game called Gauntlet out recently. There's a game called Forced, and a few others, and they tend to suffer in that a lot of it is quite grindy, but this game is not very grindy at all, so that's nice. Cookies. Goodness me. The moderators are away, and Cookie has totally taken liberties here. Somebody save me. Okay. This is a bit rockier than the others. Like a bit more sticky outy, but by the time we gravity-fy everything, which is going to take a very long time, I should say. I think when we do gravity, I'm actually going to increase the size of the brush allowed, because it's going to take way too long otherwise. We're going to need to use a bigger brush than just 30. Goodness me, that's enough cookies. Excuse me, cookie, excuse me. No more cookies, please. Excuse me, are these your cookies? Please remove them from my site. Thank you. This is overwhelmingly this is destroying the blue, which I didn't realise, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's okay. It doesn't really matter that much, as long as most of the blue is left. And in here, I think we do need to bulk out here quite a lot. Stick a few in there. Boom. I don't regret much. Have you played Cookie Clicker? Speaking of cookies, that is a game. Well, it's not. It is technically a game. That is gamification. The game. I don't know. You guys must have played Cookie Clicker. Certainly, Cookie. You must have played Cookie Clicker. Interesting idea for a game. What happens if we remove the gameplay but we leave the gamification? And it turns out that still works as a game. So it's just like generic, or not even generic, but it is tycoon game, but without the tycoon. Like, it's just, you just basically you click on a cookie and you get cookies. Yeah, it's not a great game, I must admit, but it is interesting that it works. Like, it does function as a game. Yes, cookies are not individuals in the game. No, they're just a number, in fact. It's disgusting, isn't it? So this area here is probably going to be covered by something else anyway, so I'm not going to go too detailed here. Let's go into the next area. So this area here, I'm not too worried about keeping it within the lines, because it should be a bit... I don't want it to dip like the lines are suggesting. So I'm just going to kind of cover this area a little bit more, just bring it up a little, and we can flatten this out later. Make it into maybe a nice gentle slope instead. We'll see how we go with that. And cookie rights, cookie lives matter. Oh, I just had an idea actually. I could use a melt brush on this maybe to repair some of the holes. Alrighty, we're probably like halfway through now at this point. So let's keep going. We're halfway through, that means half to go. Yeah. And yeah. Well, that's way over, but it's okay. This needs some attention actually. I've bypassed that, haven't I? Well, maybe it doesn't actually. It looks okay. Half of cookie. What? But cookies should be treated as individuals, not as dividable wholes. If you can't handle my cookie in its worst half, you don't deserve it in its best half. Do I work off stream or only usually during? Sorry? I'm confused by that statement. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, the live stream is the only place where I'm doing work on this build. So if you're interested in anything that you've seen, anything that you can see here is all documented on the stream. There's been nothing. I haven't done anything outside of the stream. I've been tempted, but I've decided since I haven't done it yet that there's no reason to do that. So just keeping it all on the stream now. This is the most non-methodical building of such a large area that I probably has ever been seen, to be honest. I'm just kind of just plinking around and hitting random spots on it. But it's, you know, it's such a big job, and I don't really have a hard and fast plan that it's kind of necessary to do it this way. I think maybe not necessary, but easier anyway. I'm gonna put a couple guidelines in here so we can see if that's right. Yes, that looks right. Oops. Let out a little crack in there, fill that. Yeah, cookie is definitely the most used word again. Well done, friend. So, I could check it for you, but I'm not going to do that during the stream. This area is a mess, but I think we'll come back to this area anyway, because this is going to have the ravine running through it. So actually, I think we're getting kind of close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch out the remainder with the blue lines real quick to get them nice and detailed. And then we will fill out the rest, and we might be able to get onto something else today than just working on this, working on filling it with rocks. I think we might be able to start doing the erosion, which I have a couple of ideas now, actually. I had the idea of using gravity, but I also had the idea of using the melt brush. So melt can be used not only to melt away material, but to melt material out, which I think could be very helpful, potentially. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think we got a good chance of that working, actually. Yeah, it's a relatively new technique for me. Although I have used it before. I've used straight lines previously, but these work a lot better. So this is a catenary brush. And the reason I'm using them is that with this being additive space and with all of the shapes in available being convex, i.e. being kind of rounded and not kind of like they're all like this and not like this. So I'm trying to get this kind of shape, like we have these kind of arches and things, and it's kind of pointy, so it's a convex shape. But there's no tools, there's no brushes that I know of that will produce that. So I'm trying to make kind of arrange convex shapes into a concave shape using these lines, because these lines do provide a bit of a convex object to work on. So it's real easy, actually. This is just BR catenary 22. That's all it is. Boom. So this catenary brush is a world edit tool, and it does catenary is from Latin catus or something. I don't know, cat something. From where we get, I think we get cat o' nine tails and various other things, but specifically it means kind of chain. Or hanging, catenary curve is a hanging curve, so something hanging under its own weight, a chain or a vine or something like that, or a rope. And so that's basically what we're getting here. Strictly speaking, I don't know whether that's the correct description of a mountain. It's probably not, but it's a pretty good description of a mountain, I think. So yes, that's what I'm using as my basis, basically. Gosh, I just made a mistake there. Oops. I keep doing that. Alrighty, so we're going to make the lines in here. There's a big gap here. Yeah, it is if it works. We don't know if it's going to work yet. Although this is kind of the technique I use for the other mountain. But the other mountain is extremely pedestrian. It's just straight up and down. So this is a much more interesting range of mountains. So, hello friend, good morning, or good evening, how are you today? I suppose it is good morning for you as well, isn't it? Good morning everybody. How are you doing? How's your day been? I've still working on this mountain range. I'm starting to get closer to a state of completion. I think we might get onto something else apart from just placing these rocks today, which would be nice. I did come up with a couple of ideas about how we can work on this as well, which is nice. We will have a little go at testing those, I think, towards the end of the stream. Test out some new techers that have never been seen before, or maybe have, I don't know, probably been seen before. The one that I think is most promising is going to be the melt brush. I think if I can melt the terrain outwards, we can kind of use that to fill up these weird gaps and hopefully create a more flat surface, but without turning it into like straight diagonals, I think. So to go back to the catenary brush, I think the main use of it is for things like vines and ropes and stuff like that. I think that's how it was envisioned when it was added to World Edit, and it is very good for those. I have used it for those, and it's super cool to just be able to go boom, vine, just instantly, instant vine, instant hanging vine. Liana, is it? I don't know. So that's yeah, also a use for it, rather than just as a guideline. But as a guideline, it's kind of invaluable as well. I've actually used it, now that I've said that, I've actually used it quite a lot of times. So I've also used it for making beaches, because beaches are kind of curved as well. I tried to use it as an actual brush for the beach, but it turned out not to be very suitable for that. It's not very suitable for making surfaces with. I think in theory it's possible, but I suspect there's a different brush that can be used for that. But I just don't know what it is. Unfortunately, I don't know. I know there's at least some brushes can be used to make planes, but they still elude me, my understanding so far. My mum should soon be free from a disgusting person. I'm happy she'll be able to set it all to rest finally. Is that her boyfriend or something? Oh yeah, my morning's been just fine. Haven't been up to too much. Meditated a little bit. Don't have any cheese in the house, so had to have some cream cheese with my rye breads for breakfast. My present favourite breakfast is like, you know, rye vita. So rye bread with cheese, hard cheese like cheddar, and chorizo, which is freaking awesome. But discovering chorizo, I didn't really know. You know, I'd heard of chorizo, and I had a vague idea of what it was, and I'd seen it, eaten it on occasion, but like, I started buying it, and it is a revelation. I love it so much. My fridge is not complete without just the stink of paprika now. It's such a great thing. Probably going to die. I'm not sure it's very healthy, actually. It's kind of unhealthy, in fact, you imagine, but it makes great sandwiches. Oh wow, getting divorced after 26 years. Is that your father? That's the plot thickens. Yeah. Chorizo is probably a lot more popular some places than others. It's yeah, it's not really too much of a thing here. Americans are quite surprised that we Brits don't really have Spanish or Mexican cooking, really. Oh gosh, that's a complicated situation then. It sounds like it's resolving though, and that's good. Yeah, this feeds into my my thought for the day about surrounding yourself with the right positive energy. Sometimes, as I say, you got to cut loose. Doesn't matter who they are. If they're giving you the wrong energy, you know, if they're dragging you down, you got to get rid. Well, I hope it works out best for everybody involved. You know, even horrible people deserve to have a nice time, and you know, not to, I don't want to defend your dad. He's probably a horrible person, but being in a situation in which they are, you know, causing pain to other people, not a good situation for them either. So hopefully, yeah, everybody involved can kind of move on. I have had a quesadilla. That is that the flat one? It's like 2 fried breads. Is it? Is that a quesadilla? Like two fajita wraps with like cheese in the middle. Yeah, it's not that great actually. Funny fact, actually, there are actually Taco Bell. There's some Taco Bell in the UK, and there's one that I've been able to access. I work near to a Taco Bell. I hope I haven't said too much. There's not that many Taco Bells in the UK, so I work in the same town as a Taco Bell, put it that way. in the UK, so I've actually been to Taco Bell, and it's not that great. But there is, I do know a great Mexican restaurant, which I like to visit. It's like a little bit on the cheaper side, but that's fine. It is a great restaurant though, and I do love to have. They do a great. Well, the meat, I suppose, is the great part of it. They have a great selection of pulled pork and the chicken, the beef, the pork is all great, and then obviously they use that for each of the dishes, so you can get, well, you know what you can get in a Mexican restaurant, I'm sure, but they've got that great basis of great meat. I would recommend it. You can just eat it straight, like it's good, just straight. There's also cooking variants, which are kind of softer, and you can just eat the whole thing, like as a sausage. But as a snack, it's quite good. And as I say, on a sandwich, it's beautiful. It goes great with cheese, or cream cheese as well. It's lovely. Yeah, it wasn't that great, to be honest. When I was in the US, I actually had Taco Bell as well, and I wasn't blown away. I was surprised there's nothing fresh in it. That's probably the number one thing. There is no fresh food inside. It's just all the bad parts of Mexican cooking thrown into a pile. It's like, here, we took all of the lettuce and the salsa, and we just took that out, and instead we put sour cream and cheese and meat. Which I think is that's not right. That's not true to it's not true to the original design, which actually is quite healthy. Like, Mexican cooking doesn't, you know, it's not inherently unhealthy. If you're talking about a little bit of cheese, you know, some cornbread, and you know, some slow cooked meat, some veggies, it's not really unhealthy. It's actually kind of healthy. But to take the healthy parts out and to amp up those unhealthy parts really does a disservice to it. Not only is it unhealthy, but it doesn't taste that great. It's very unsubtle, and then on top of that, after eating it, even if you're not getting like a stomachache, you just feel bleh, bleh. That's the number one thing for me that I don't like about fast food, is just like it gives you just a horrible like food coma, like not in a good way either, not like yeah, just a bad one. And I know fish and chips is our national takeaway, and that's not very good. That does the same thing to me. It really just hits me super hard. If I have a fish and chips, then I'm out of action for like hours afterwards. I need to like have a nap. It's kind of gross. Fish and chips is good though. It tastes great, and it's actually not that unhealthy. I mean, it is reasonably unhealthy, but it's not as bad. It's got that fish. The fish is pretty good, which is more than you can say for most fast food. Plus, we're talking about chunky chips instead of like fries, so it's probably better than a burger and fries, but it's a lot of calories. Okay, so you've narrowed down that I work in one of 18 places, so I think I'm safe. Good. That was a bit of a risk, actually, telling you that. It could have been only one place, and then people would have known where I worked. Other things you can do with chorizo, actually, since we're talking about it. It goes great in chili. If you ever make chili, it's a great ingredient to add to chili. Be careful not to add too much, though, because it can very easily overpower it. Yeah, that's probably about it. I'm trying to think what else you can cook with it. It goes well, nice with chicken. You can do chicken chorizo salad, quite good. So I'm usually having it for breakfast with my on a rye bread. I know that's not a typical breakfast, but I've been a little bit sweetified. My girlfriend's rubbing off on me. Yeah, I thought you were talking about chorizo and not the place where I work. Slowly, I'm going to get doxxed, aren't I? I should not tell too much information. Of course, nobody's going to care. Doesn't really matter too much. Who's gonna stalk me? Hopefully none of you. If you are gonna stalk me, I don't know whether I'd rather you tell me now so I can call the police, or don't tell me so that I don't know. Don't stalk me, please. Meat. Meat is, yeah, generally pretty good. I think we have we hang up a little bit too much on meat, actually, in the West. I know I like meat. I used to be a vegetarian for a little while. But when I was travelling in New Zealand, you just can't be a vegetarian there. They love their meat too much. Oh, that's a bit of a killer. Yeah, one of those two is the options for this stalker business. So I think we're kind of getting there now, in terms of filling out the basic shape. So I might start experimenting. Yeah, let's have a go. Why not? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to head over. Let's head over to the area where we know we're going to work over it anyway. So we'll start there and just practice. Well, you can do a lot of good stuff with non-meat, actually. I thought I really liked meat, but a lot of the time it tastes great. Let's put it that way. But it's also expensive, and it's unhealthy too, generally. Not always. I mean, chicken's not essentially unhealthy, but it can be unhealthy, and it frequently is. And I think the key problem here is that a lot of people aren't very good at cooking, and so you can crutch on things like a steak. You know, a steak is easy. Anybody can cook a steak. Shove it in the pan, fry it, done, right? To cook a vegetarian dish is a lot of effort, and frequently it's quite a lot of skill to make it taste nice, but you can end up with very good results from vegetarian cooking. Oh yeah, this we did a little count, Tyler, and it's around 10 million blocks in total, so it's big. So let's have a go here with BE melt. So we're going to use a melt brush on here. Well, it's not even necessarily just a case of the healthiness of it. So here's my idea then. This is going to take a long time, actually. It's kind of a weak brush. But basically use this to fill in little holes. Yeah, it's going to be very slow, but it does kind of work, actually. That's... yes. We could use a slightly bigger one. Let's use like a B5, might make it a little bit quicker. And... gosh, this is going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time, whatever brush I use, but this may not be the right brush right now. Let's try a blend ball to start with. Blend ball, bring in the big guns. So let's try, if I just whack, say, there with blend ball, boom. Maybe not right. Maybe a small one? Blend ball like 3, and then just hit deep. No, that's not going to work either. Lift brush, maybe? Concerned. I think we may have to go with the melt brush. It's going to be a very, very long process. So I'm thinking melt brush into gravity brush, or maybe we should start with the gravity brush. Let's try the gravity brush out. Let's hit this with the gravity brush and see what happens. BR gravity 50, maximum radius 30. Okay, that's kind of a problem. So let's start at the base, because we're going to have to work our way up because of the nature of the gravity brush. And let's go. Did it work? Yes, it did. Very, very slowly, though. Goodness me. So this is, as I say, this is probably never going to see the light of day, this area anyway, so we'll just kind of check it out. We'll see what happens. I used to, as I say, I was vegetarian for a little while, for a number of reasons, and probably the best thing I found that was easy, oh no, the floor is hollow under here, so it's actually going to give way. Going to be kind of a problem. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do. I think there's a good technique for doing what you've just described, but I don't really know what it is. Unfortunately, I wish there was a more powerful version of the gravity brush that would work like instantly, pulling everything down instead of having to work in stages like this, one by one. So I think this is what we're going to have to do. Oh gosh, it's going to take forever. Yep. This is one small area. I definitely need a bigger gravity brush than this if I'm going to do gravity. I think. It is kind of working though, isn't it? I think maybe this is the right course of action. Gravity, the whole thing. I mean, I could turn it to sand and punch it. I could turn it to sand. I could turn it to sand. Let's try turning it to sand. So, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to try this out. New techers. Brand new technique, you've seen it here first. BR, sand, sphere, sand, 30, mask, stone. We go whack. And there we go, we have sand now. And then we punch one. Did that work? Come on. Ball. Okay, is it working? Kind of working. Is there a block update brush maybe? How could I do... Maybe pour water over it? Would water work? Let's see what happens if I pour water. This is going to make a real... I'm basically making a real mess right now. This is what all the kids love to do with Minecraft Creative, isn't it? Basically make a huge mess. There must be a way to force a block update. Oh, it actually washed some blocks away. That wasn't really what I was expecting. In fact, it looks like it is washing the blocks away. Kind of not what I wanted. I might have a quick Google and see if there's a block update tool. Excuse me, just 1 second. I'm just going to have a look and see if there's a block update tool in World Edit. So, go to a slightly more interesting location. It shouldn't take too long. Any luck? Boom. World Edit brushes. Update all blocks. Regen. Okay, that's totally not what it wants. Although it has given me some ideas. Maybe. What happens if I take another brush, the Let's do 33, whatever. I don't know. 30? What? BR sphere. Mask air. So if I do that. Whoops. Just undo. What is that? Oh. That work? So that's that, and then is that done an update? No, it hasn't. Oh goodness. I suppose I could just punch places, but that's going to take ages as well. Yeah, it's a bit tricky to know what to do, really. I think the sand is a winning strategy, though. Let's sand the whole thing, and we'll see what happens. I know I know I'm going to lose a lot of like cool detail, but it's okay. We'll deal with the loss of the detail. We can put the detail back in, and most of it's not going to show up anyway. So I think most of the detail is going to be covered anyway. So we'll be okay. Let's do it. We turn that all to sand. That's not a bad idea, actually. Like a big layer of sand, let it fall down, and will that work? Yeah, I think that will work, won't it? If the sand falls, it should trigger the other sand to fall, shouldn't it? I don't know. We'll find out. In fact, let's give that a go. So let's see a place where sand should fall. So like there. Let's do pause 1, pause 2, set sand. And then if we punch this, it did cause it to fall. Yes. I think that's going to be a good technique. This is going to be amazing, actually, once we get it everywhere. So, oops, wrong brush again. So actually, we need to speed this up, and we're going to speed this up in the fastest way possible. I'm not going to do it at the very base, actually, but let's do it in like a huge chunk here. Hello, Caduseo. Sao. Cadusao. Hello, haha. It's a funny name. Alright, so we're going to come over here, say. I don't want to go too far because I don't want to hit Peaceful Valley. So let's do pause 2, and we'll do replace stone sand. That's going to take a little while to go through. 4.5 million blocks changed. Goodness me. We are seriously dealing with some big stuff here. So there we go. Let's just check that it didn't hit Peaceful Valley. I think it did. Looks like it might have hit it. Oh no. Just missed. I think we're okay. Yeah, we just missed it. Alright. So that's perfect. So now we're going to put, let's put a layer of sand over the whole top once we get... We did miss a couple spots at the top here, didn't we? So let's just fill the top in. And with one fell swoop, hopefully, we will be able to create a super cool landscape. So this is all already turned to sand. This is going to be absolute hell for the replay manager. So the replay manager stores commands by the block, I think. So changing 4.5 million blocks in one go and then using the gravity on them is probably going to really hit the processor. So if we crash, you know what happened, and hopefully we don't crash, because if we crash, we might lose something. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Alrighty, so let's start. Let's put the blankets. Is that changed? Did this change or did this not change? I'm sure it changed. Maybe it did. Okay. This just hasn't loaded. So we're going to go all the way up. Ah, well, now it's 2018 and I'm still here. Or at least I'm back. Anyway, not still here. I think that's technically untrue, but... Alright, so we've got pos 1 here. Whoops. Looks like we didn't leave enough space, but I think it's okay. We don't need all that space. Cool. That's good. I hope you've had some success with that. It was fun when I used to do it. So we're going pos 2, and we're going to go replace air, sand. Boom, 58,000 sand blocks. Ho, 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 ho. Oh goodness. Should we do a TNT? Let's start this off in style. This is going to look amazing on the replay. Oh wait, this isn't going to work, is it? It's okay. I'll just punch it. Ready? You guys ready? Oh. Oh gosh. Oh no. Okay. We're in frame rate hell, and we're going to remain in frame rate hell for some time, I suspect, because this isn't going to be quick. You probably should shaders off for this. You know what? Maybe we can turn the shaders off now, because otherwise it's just not gonna. We're not gonna be able to see anything. Sorry, guys. How about that for timing? It should still be happening in the background, to be fair. Oh, come on. I should have thought about this, really. Come on, we're missing it. There we go. Get rid of the selection. And, whoa. Goodness me. It is not ready. It's not ready. We can see the sand falling, but nothing else. Well, this is the trippiest thing I've seen in Minecraft for a while. And are we going to load anything? No? Let's go down and see if we can see what's happening down here. So we should be expecting to see some kind of effect on the terrain, i.e. see the terrain falling. So we should be able to see this fall, for example. And... kind of doing it, is it? I think it's working. Oh, I see. There's a lot of stuff happening down there as well. Oh well, we'll find out what happens, I guess. Can't really do much at the moment. I'll just watch, I suppose. Oh, we missed the corner over here, but oh well. As a technique, we're finding out. This is completely reversible, by the way. So I didn't think about that. So if this doesn't work, we have not many options. But I mean, I don't see any reason it shouldn't work. Oh, big sheets of sand there. It looks pretty. This is going to look amazing in a replay, by the way. I can replay this so that we get all the speed back. I think I'm going to replay it in real time, and we can just... so that might be a video that shows up on my channel. Is like that was cool. Awesome. It's still like we're still barely even started. There's so much, so much more sand falling to happen. Kind of interesting how it's kind of... What happened here? How's that even possible? Has the sand not fallen yet? Funny. I'm very happy that we managed to maintain the blue lines as well. That's nice. Gosh, this is taking a little while. I guess there's a lot of block updates happening, so to be fair. Maybe get some more water, you know? Just gonna back off and see if we can see some stuff. I'm just gonna grab some water real quick. I'll be right back, because this is taking a little while. Longer than I was expecting. Oh, guess who's back? And the sand is still very slowly falling. So, I think Minecraft time is like slowed down now. Like I think if this was a non-creative server, all the monsters and stuff would be moving extremely slowly, I think. I don't know, maybe it's just block ticks that are slowed down? Whoa, let's go up there and maybe we can see some more cool stuff from up there. TNT. I wonder if the block updates go quicker where I am. It kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Whee! Yeah, it definitely looks like it, actually. Sure. This is awesome. Whoa. It's so slow now that the music skipped for a second there. I'm enjoying this quite immensely. It's been a lot of build-up, to be fair. But then again, I suppose this is only one stage of the whole process. Yeah, it's super trippy. I'm sure, like this for example, this corner here, that looks like this could be easily something out of, whoa. Salvador Dali painting or something. Who's the other guy? Escher, is it? Maybe Escher? Goodness me. That is super trippy. Whoa. So I'm not sure, technically speaking, how this stuff happens on the Minecraft server. Because I would have thought that the blocks would have fallen in terms of like the real, I suppose, behavior, i.e. what would happen in the replay. I would expect that all the blocks would fall independently of where the character was, but it doesn't really look like that. Haha. Consider your name dead. Whoa. It's like a giant sandpit. This is basically, yeah, being a kid and having a giant sandpit, isn't it? This is what you would do if you had magic powers in a sandpit. I know it's what I would do. I suppose that's kind of what Minecraft is, isn't it? In ways. Goodness me, this really gives you an impression of the scale of this build, doesn't it? You know, this is just pushing down the blocks, but there's 56,000 blocks just in the surface. And this isn't even the whole surface. On this portion of the surface. But I think we're gonna have... Whoa! That's a frame drop. Aha. Did you get off on that? Yeah, Subreapers, good call. I mean, apart from the fact that it looks interesting, I think it's probably worked pretty well as well. We'll have to find out, really. Only time will tell. And as I say, there's no going back. Using Minecraft blocks, like block updates like this, there will be no reverting of this, so that's it. Except that we gotta fly all over the surface to update the surface as well. Oh no, it looks like the surface is done, I think. So we've already been through here, actually. Whee! Some major sandscape. Okay. Ah, yes. Our sins lie revealed. The fact that I didn't put any, the fact that I didn't base this on anything that is floating is being revealed now. But that's okay. We can fill it out more. Bro, it's awesome. Seeing like a big structure like that. Why you no fall? Funny that this one didn't start to fall. I guess I didn't put any sand over this way, maybe. That also hasn't fallen. So there's still some areas left that haven't fallen, actually, which is weird. How interesting. Why aren't these falling? Oh. Very odd. But we've definitely got a smoother surface. Because it's done by Minecraft, it's irreversible. Obviously, anything that's done through World Edit is reversible. It records it, but World Edit didn't record the blocks falling. So if I try and undo it, what we'll end up with is kind of a partial undo, which nobody really wants. Whoa! Okay, we discovered a bit of a hole here. Apparently there was a big hole here. Goodness me, it was a big hole. Awesome. This is super cool. I mean, it's also kind of unfortunate because actually this isn't quite what I had in mind. It is actually causing some kind of sort of damages to the shape, but I think it's about settled. Yeah, so there we go. They look kind of pretty with the sand on top of, hanging on top of all the blue lines. What to do now then? Yeah, I'm kind of confused about what to do. If I try to reverse this now, what will happen is the blocks. I don't know what would happen. We could try. Can we? Yeah, let's try it. Let's try reverse it and see what happens. So that deleted the blocks from the air. So of course the blocks that fell are still there because they fell already. So if I undo this again, something weird's going to happen. Let's find out. So everything's turning back now, or at least it's trying to turn back into stone. We can redo. So, oh gosh, no! I've made a big mistake. I shouldn't have done this. Okay, so what's going to happen now, I think, is all the blocks are going to get put back where they were, as if the sand had never existed. And so we're just going to end up with the same structure, but with sand on top, I think. Whoops. That was a stupid thing to have done. Does it say undo successful? Is that it? Oh, it's okay. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay because I of course hit it with a brush in between. Actually, this does kind of look like it works. Wait, redo? Undo. Redo. Undo. 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 So it does seem to just be turning back the blocks that are still there, actually, doesn't it? Maybe? No, is that... Oh, gosh. It's kind of tricky to know whether or not it's regrowing the blocks or not. Yeah, it is regrowing the blocks, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay. So we definitely don't want to continue with the undoing. Let's redo. But yeah, it's going to be... So I think next thing is to put lots of sand on. Sand, rocks again. So go back to rocks and cover this whole thing with sand again. And just kind of make the shape out of sand, and then we'll change it back into stone. We could almost take the blue off, actually. Let's see what happens if we take the blue off, see what it looks like. So if we do a BR sphere, air, 3, no, not 3, 30, mask, 22, this will just target the blue, and we can just whip the blue off, hopefully. Hopefully it'll give us an idea of what we're looking at. Without the blue, we end up with a bit of a mess, actually, by the look of it. Do I want to work like this, or do I want to continue with the blue, try and fill it out more? Yeah, I think I want to keep the blue, and we'll try to fill out under the blue a little bit more. But this is going to be a big job. Well, we knew it was going to be a big job. You don't place 10 million blocks without it being a big job, I suppose. Alrighty, so I guess rock, sand. 8 maybe, with 90 eccentricity, and we'll just mask air, and we'll start going back to the rocks again. I think that's all we can do, really. Try repad out the areas that we destroyed a little bit. Wait, isn't there a lift brush actually? A raise or something? BR raise, is it? BR raise sphere. 5. Hmm. 10. What does this do? Oh. Allows me to raise in a sphere. Oh, except I think it's just pulling it up, isn't it, actually? I think that's kind of a problem, because as soon as I punch it, I think what's going to happen is it's going to fall. Yeah, it is, unfortunately. So it's actually not raising it, it's just, yeah, it's just pulling it up, and because it's sand, it's just going to fall. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really cool map, actually. It's definitely, I'm pretty sure I'm going to make it into an adventure map, and I think it's going to be a good one. So maybe we can try lift brush. Oops, that's the opposite of what I want to do. So slow though, like we're moving like 15 blocks at once, and we've probably got like close to 1 million blocks to place, so 10 at once isn't really going to cut it, is it? Plus we got the danger of hitting the... yeah, it's not going to work. Oh gosh, what have I done? I've made a mistake, I think. That wasn't what I meant to do. I went to do the rock. I don't know which one my rock brush was though. That's the lift brush. Is that the rock brush? I think that's the rock brush, yeah. So, rock brush it is. Just gonna fill out underneath again, basically. And it's gonna take some time. I'm gonna try speed it up by making it quick. It's probably false economy though. I'm gonna leave this this area here where it hasn't been hit with the rock, with the sand brush. I'm just gonna leave that for now. We're just gonna work on the sandy area. And just gonna keep whacking away with this sand brush. Hopefully, doing this we can smooth out just a little bit. I don't really know. I'm kind of at a loss about how to do this in a quick way to to be honest. I don't really know how to kind of do it. Not sure there is a very easy, quick way to do it. I think it's going to be a long job. Never watch the way I do it, unfortunately. So you probably can't actually see anything happening. It's because these commands are like queued up, and so they're going to appear, and they're probably going to look quite ugly when they do appear, because of course they haven't been very carefully watched. Here we go. So we're actually seeing the previous ones get filled out now. So there's kind of a funny danger that happens with this, is that when you queue commands like this, you can queue commands on a non-existent block. So if you hit the button twice, you'll hit first of all where you're targeting, and then you'll hit on the side of the block that you just, on the side of the rock that you just placed. It's kind of a danger. So you can end up with like kind of big sticky out bits that you don't really anticipate happening, but it's okay. Yeah, I'm not sure this really added much, the whole sand operation. Maybe it did. You know what, we should sand this area too, because otherwise it's going to be a bit weird that we didn't do that. Let's do the same operation on here, because we need to. And then we can, I think we'll call it a day. It's a shame, actually, as I'm working on this, it's a shame that most clients won't be able to even see this. Like, the whole point of this is that it's all kind of visible from the same area, from everywhere, but for most people, for most machines, they won't be able to see this, because it's going to be just too... Oh, we're still carrying out the last operation. But for most PCs, for example, they're just not going to have the render distance to be able to view it. Which is a bit of a shame. We're still waiting. I don't really know how much the sand is doing, to be honest. It's kind of hard to tell. So what I was trying to do was to get the sand to act under gravity, to get all these rocks to act under gravity and kind of settle down a bit, so there wasn't so many overhangs. I think that's the main contributor here, to remove the overhangs. But apart from that, it's kind of hard to say what kind of effect it actually had. I don't really think it had too much of an effect, apart from removing those overhangs, and actually in some ways adding some noise back in. Because in some places, like there was places where the rocks were just kind of clipping each other, and so we ended up with these big cliffs forming out of nowhere. There we go. Should we replace sand? What? Oh no, it didn't work. Okay. It's annoying. Yeah, I think it didn't work because it was just queuing for ages, so let's grab it again. Go pause one here, and then I'm going to fly over here, and real quick. I'm not sure we have time to do this actually. In fact, we don't have time to do this, so I'm not going to start this now because I don't know what will happen if I cancel it halfway through. There we go. So we changed our beautiful mountain into a heap of sand, but we got closer to the mountain shape we were looking for, I think. Closer. I mean, there's still a lot of work to be done. Come on, where's that? I can't find the sand brush now. Whoa, I used a gravity brush on it. Wasn't what I intended. That's the lift brush. Oh gosh, apparently the gravity brush is still having a very significant effect on this area. Goodness me. So I guess it didn't really work as anticipated. let's undo that, because I don't want to get rid of the... I don't want to damage the cables. Hello, friend. Although you are not the only viewer, I think. I suspect. Good morning to you. We're about to be finished up here anyway, so not to worry. What is going on here, actually? How did this happen? Or are these the rocks that I added? These must be the rocks that I added, actually, aren't they? I think that's why it looks like this. And then there were two. Hello, second viewer. But I'm streaming also to YouTube, which is my main source of viewership. So you'll find actually that there are some viewers over on YouTube. I don't know. YouTube viewers, are you feeling like chatting? Say hi. We have this clever chat system that will allow different platforms to live in harmony together, just like cats and dogs. Okay, well, I'm picking away a little bit more on the rocks here. I think maybe I caused more damage than I did good, actually, with that command. I mean, what will happen if I undo it is that we'll... Yes, let's undo it. I'm going to undo it. Here's why I'm going to undo it. Oh, no, I can't undo it. It's way too far back now, isn't it? Bum, 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 bum. Oh, I should have undone it. If I didn't done it, what we would have ended up with is the same structure, except that everything would have been, like, supported by pillars of sand underneath. Any white airspace would have been occupied by sand. I don't know why I didn't undo it. Bum. Oh, well. It's okay. We live and we learn. I'm just popping a few more little sand balls down, and then we're going to have to head off. I got to go to work, so... There. What I really want is like a nice big erosion tool, such that I can kind of push down and kind of excavate the blue lines, basically. But I don't really know how to do that. They should be able to see it. I don't know. You should be able to see their chat. I'm not sure if you did see that. Did see the chat just now. Alright. Anyway, I think that'll do for now. I'm gonna head off, and we're gonna come back to this absolute mess. I think it's in a worse state, actually. I think this worked out as a mistake overall. But I mean, we're getting the material there, which is what really counts at the end of the day. We need to dump 10 million blocks in about the right place, and we're kind of getting there, so that's good. So next time, guess we'll continue with this. Thanks everybody for watching. Hope to see you next time, when, as I say, we'll be continuing with this and hoping to get some good results. Alrighty. Bye bye.